It's a bit bright out there. Right, we've got a little bit of a problem today. I have actually worked it out, so don't worry, we'll get to the answer in the end. Vauxhall Astra J 2012, it has what's called DRLs, or daytime running lights. They weren't working, and a lot of people might not even know this. Even if you own one of these cars, you might not even know how these systems work. So I'm going to run through it briefly, and I'm going to show you what the problem is, and I'm going to show you how we fixed it. Let's get round into the driver's seat. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the ignition on and I'm going to start the car up. Now, because I've already fixed this, I can't show you, but in the instrument pack here it would have said check left and check right daytime running lights. So there was obviously a fault, but because I've rectified it, I'll show you in a minute anyway. When we start these cars up, the headlights automatically come on, obviously in lower light conditions. And down here, you've got your automatic headlight control switch. So that's set to auto, and obviously the headlights are on now. I can switch the headlight switch to side lights, and your side lights will come on. And I can switch the headlights on to bring headlights back on. If I switch it back to auto, we're back to square one with the headlights on, or I can turn the headlight switch to the 0 position, in which it takes the headlights off. But within that situation, when I come round here, in good lighting conditions, the daytime running light, which is here, should be lit up. It should be a 15-watt bulb, which is quite a bright bulb actually. And that should be lit up nice and brightly. But as you can see, it's not on, and we've got very good lighting in this garage, so even outside they were not coming on. So I'm kind of figuring, why aren't those lights coming on? So why aren't the daytime running lights working? I'll just run you through the few checks I made which brought me to the outcome. And obviously, because these are only filament bulbs that go in here, that's where you're obviously going to start. So on the driver's headlight, these bulbs, they're kind of tucked in underneath the wing. See that little bit down there? And to get to that one on the driver's side, it's a damn sight easy. Well, you really need to take the airbox out. It comes out quite easily, by the way. And on the passenger side, it's the same scenario, tucked in under there. This one's a little bit easier. Well, all you do is get the washer bottle, the top, and it pulls out like that. That's quite a nice idea, so you can actually get to the bloody bulb. They're still a little bit tricky though. In all honesty, I thought it was just a good idea just to replace both the bulbs anyway. But you can see them here. They're like a great big capless bulb with two filaments in them, 5 watt and 15 watt, and obviously the 15 watt filament is for the daytime running lights. So after replacing both the bulbs and still no flipping joy, I'm kind of scratching my head thinking, what the hell can it be? Then I had the bright idea to connect the Solus Ultra scanner up to the vehicle's diagnostic port. I went into the body control module, and under special functions there are 2 headings there where you could literally test the daytime running lights independently. So using the scanner, I was able to switch the daytime running lights on and off, and they both worked. Believe it or not, they both bloody well worked. That said to me that from the headlights all the way back to the body control module, there's no fault. Everything is working perfectly fine. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell does that leave? The headlight switch maybe? Could that be faulty? So I went back on the internet, done a little bit more digging, didn't really find anything on this subject. But there was one Vauxhall forum that gave an explanation of how the system works and everything that is entailed in it. And guess what? I found the answer, and all you need is a flashlight. Let's go. So there is our sensors. One's the rain sensor and one's the daylight sensor. So I'll switch the old torch on and shine that onto our sensors. There we go. Just come on. What can I say? You just need to shed a little bit of light on the situation. Anyway, what we done was we swapped the rain sensor, which is, you know, just below your interior mirror, behind the little plastic cover. There's like a little rain sensor there, which is built in with your daylight sensor. And I thought I'd just drop this little sensor down just so you can see it. It clips on just inside the windscreen underneath a plastic cover which you take off. It just unclips. It's quite easy, but you've got to be careful when you take this off. Just be gentle. There's a little bit of the cover is in like two halves. You've got to press the tab in at the side, then it unclips like that. There's a little gap there. Then you have to kind of slot it in, which is not the easiest of things to do. And once it's slotted in, you clip that back into place like that, then it's secure, then it won't fall out. So that's it. There's your sensor. And if you didn't know, the way that sensor works, in sunlight or normal daylight, that sensor should sense the daylight and switch your daytime running lights on. And switch your headlights off, obviously, for daytime running. When it gets dusk or dark, the daytime running lights will be switched off and your headlights will be switched on. That's kind of how it works. So, but then again, if you don't know these things, it's hard to try and work out what's going on. It's one of them jobs that if you're not clued up on it, you could be running around all day long trying to find answers and not really get anywhere, and start blaming this, that and the other, especially blaming the body control module, which is a very expensive piece of equipment inside one of these cars. So, but we looked on the internet, as I said earlier, and I couldn't really find anything about these. The only thing I found was an explanation of how the system works, and that was enough really to know, hang on a minute, there's a sensor in the windscreen. So when we've shone the torch on it to replicate some good daylight, they work. And that said to me, that sensor in the windscreen, that daylight sensor in the windscreen is a little bit faulty. It's not reading right. We swapped it for another one, and now bingo, everything's working perfectly fine. No more error messages on the dash. Everything's great again. So it was a simple, very simple fix actually. God only knows how much a new one of them sensors cost, but we had a spare one anyway in another car, so it doesn't really matter. I'll find one off eBay, no doubt. But anyway, another little job fixed. I'm glad it's worked out okay. So if anyone else has that kind of problem, and I'm sure to God, this is the kind of problem that happens all the time on these cars. But don't get these ones confused with the daytime running lights with the LED strips, because they're a different system and they have like ballasts and all that on them lights. These are just filament bulbs. This is the earlier one. So anyway, I think I've banged on long enough. So that's it. I just thought I'd bring this little one up because I thought it was interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Adios.